Dominance is shown by what they refuse to do. You state a decision in a meeting and stop talking. Someone pushes back and waits for you to justify yourself. The observable behavior is withholding extra explanation after resistance appears. The effect is that your decision feels fixed because there is no surface to negotiate against. In practice, this means you deny people the small details they use to pry openings into your position. You can recognize it when someone answers once, then lets the silence pressure the other person instead. 5 seconds feels like a threat. You sit down at a table and you do not shrink to make others comfortable. Your shoulders stay open, your feet stay planted, and your movements stay economical. The observable behavior is stable posture that claims space without apology. The effect is that people unconsciously treat you as less movable, which makes your preferences harder to ignore. This shows up when others angle their chairs toward you and lower their own posture as they speak. You can recognize it when someone forces you to step back with micro movements, then watches if you reclaim the space. Space decides who yields first. In a negotiation, the other side drops an aggressive demand and goes quiet. You do not counter immediately, and you do not change your expression. The observable behavior is calm delay after a pressure move. The effect is that their demand starts to sound risky even to them because it sits in the room without support. This is done by letting their proposal hang long enough that they feel the social cost of it. You can recognize it when the demanding person starts adding flexibility or sweeteners without being asked. Silence extracts concessions invisibly. Someone tries to hold your gaze to see if you blink first. You meet it, then break eye contact on your timing, not theirs. The observable behavior is controlled eye disengagement. The effect is that you signal you decide when connection starts and ends, which is read as higher rank. This shows up when the other person keeps checking your face after you look away, trying to regain your attention. You can recognize it when people stare a fraction too long, then soften as soon as you do not reward it. Eyes are leverage in silence. In a group argument, one person speaks slowly while others speed up. They do not match the rush, even when challenged. The observable behavior is steady tempo under escalation. The effect is that the fast talkers start sounding reactive and the slow speakers start sounding inevitable. In practice, this means your pace forces others to downshift if they want to be taken seriously. You can recognize it when the room's volume and speed drop around one person without anyone asking for calm. Tempo controls the room's spine. A colleague smiles at you to pull friendliness and soften your position. You acknowledge it briefly and stay neutral. The observable behavior is emotional non-mirroring. The effect is asymmetry, and asymmetry signals status because the lower status person tries harder to create alignment. This shows up when the other person increases warmth, jokes, or compliments to win a reaction. You can recognize it when someone stays level while others keep adjusting tone to get access. Warmth can be a leash. In a meeting, the room is split, and one person watches without reacting. They look at the speaker, then briefly look at the real decision maker before anyone else does. The observable behavior is selective attention to the person who can grant outcomes. The effect is that everyone else starts orienting to the same person, because attention reveals the hierarchy faster than words do. This shows up when people begin addressing their points toward whoever is being watched. You can recognize it when someone's eyes keep landing on one seat after every claim, as if checking permission. Eyes expose who matters most. A conflict drags on and people start repeating themselves. One person waits until the noise burns out, then speaks once near the end. The observable behavior is late entry into the conversation. The effect is that their words land on a quieter room and feel heavier because they did not spend energy competing. This is done by letting others spend their urgency first, then placing a final frame when resistance is tired. You can recognize it when the late speaker is not interrupted and others immediately start shifting toward action. Speaking last often wins. Someone tries to bait you with small disrespect, then watches for a reaction. You respond with a calm acknowledgement and nothing more. The observable behavior is minimal response to provocation. The effect is that the bait fails, and the other person is left holding their own pettiness in public. In practice, this means you do not give them the emotional spike they need to steer the interaction. You can recognize it when a provocateur starts rephrasing, softening, or pretending they were joking because you did not bite. Reaction is what they are buying. The discussion ends and one person stands up without closing it. No recap, no reassurance, no attempt to be liked on the way out. The observable behavior is clean disengagement without seeking agreement. The effect is that the interaction feels finished because the dominant person controls the ending, which controls the meaning. This shows up when others stop raising objections because the window to influence has been removed. You can recognize it when someone leaves and the room stays quiet, as if nobody is allowed to restart the topic. And then he is already gone.